And we are live. Hello, everyone. This is the Inspire Fitness Academy with their Inspire Chats. It's me, Tom. Hi. It's Sarah or Sara. I think I've already messed it up. And then Carl.
I answer to anything.
And then Susan.
Hi.
So today we're going to be talking a bit more about resolutions. Last time we touched a bit upon like what we do with our resolutions. What do we think about resolutions? And I've got a couple of questions to ask, so we can hit on a couple of key topics, so that I can get a bit of info from all three of you, because all three of you have quite a lot of experience in the different sections of stuff, and so you probably know a lot about this stuff. So my first question is, what sort of resolutions do you think are useful? Maybe is that something to do with you personally, or maybe in your profession or your expertise? What are your thoughts with that?
Well,
go first, Suze.
You want me to go first then? Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I think the first thing is that we tend to get caught up in resolving, putting forward resolutions, making resolutions on things that we've been wanting to do, and we may have said to ourselves and to others that we want such and such to happen. We want this, that, and the other to become part of our lives, and it keeps not happening. And so, you know, the one of the big questions to check in with yourself is actually, how important is this thing that you are making your resolution? Is it something that you really need to do, that you must do, that you're shoulding yourself to do? Because maybe it's just something that you have this notion that you ought to be doing because you see other people doing it, but you have no real interest in it. And it's so difficult to commit to something where you're just not passionate about it. If you have no love for it, if it actually really is of no interest to you, then I would seriously say just let yourself off that hook and resolve to do something that you really do enjoy. And I'll give you an example with what I mean, to just give it some context. Of course, the Inspire Fitness Academy is about boxing and gyms, and you know, it's physical fitness in the main. And the gym, for me, is something I've done in the past, but actually, to be honest with you, I'd much rather go swimming. I'd swim any day. So to force myself to get into some sort of regime in a gym, unless there was a swimming pool there and it was part of it, then I would set myself up to fail straight off. So that's you know, just something that I would like to offer from the outset.
That's great. So
for me, it was transformational.
Yeah. Go on, Carl.
Yeah, it's brilliant, Susan. Really interesting. Does that mean that you're going to come and join some of the online classes that the Inspire Fitness Academy hold?
You talking to me?
Yeah. Yes.
And do you mean in addition to what's on the Inspire Fitness Academy page?
Yeah, they do. I think Sam does a session on a Monday, boxing fitness class, and the recordings, so you can watch the recordings and things like that. If that's part, it'd probably be something very different from what you've tried before. But why not? Why not give it a go? I was terrified of swimming last year, and part of my journey was to learn how to swim. And my wife will tell you a story about we were on a canoe on honeymoon, and she didn't tell me that she'd done canoe instructing as part of her career when she was younger. So we're on this canoe, and she's giving it full on Bear Grylls. I'm absolutely petrified, can't swim, shouting at her to slow down. And this year I've been swimming in wild lakes up in the fells and stuff. So it, if I look back at 2020 was a year to forget for a lot of reasons. But I look back and I think some of the great things that not only I've achieved, things that me and my family have achieved, and my friends, and weight loss as well. I know I keep coming back to it, but it's taken up all of my life. I made a commitment last January the 2nd that I was going to lose weight. Now, I've made that same commitment every year for the past 15 years, and I never kept it. I quit smoking one year, and it took a health check to scare me into actually doing something and thinking, wow, this is actually quite serious. I was on the verge of what they call pre-diabetic. So you're not diabetic, but you're looking, so you're going to go that way. And it scared the bejesus out of me. And I decided I'm going to do something about it for my life. And I mean, swimming, lost weight, learned how to swim. That's enough for me for 1 year. I'm still deciding what I'm going to do for 2021. What about you, Sara?
Well, yeah, I don't really do resolutions, as I discussed before. So I tend to have a little think with myself. I sit with my thoughts and I think, what could I be doing? What am I missing? What have I done before that I could perhaps do again? And what can I learn? And it's all about focus, really. It depends what your focus is and what your objectives are to which different aspect of your life. So my business one will differ completely from my personal one. So, I've sort of two paths for a year. One's business and one's home and personal.
That's really interesting. I like how all three of you have sort of a different perspective on what you consider resolutions to be and like what they represent to you. Susan talks a bit about how you. I think I would agree that I like to pick. Usually, people pick things that they don't enjoy, or they pick to like, oh, I'm going to stop drinking, and that can be very difficult for a lot of people because that's taking something that is enjoyable and removing it from your life. A lot of people don't look at it in terms of what they can grow in terms of things that are already fulfilling for them. How do they take that to the next step? Usually they think, oh, I want to quit this, or I want to become this. They don't think, oh, it'd be a good idea to, learn, spend an hour on the piano every week or something. Most people don't have pianos, like keyboards at least, or something like that. So yeah, that's really interesting. That is. So question number 2. Got a couple of questions here. I don't know whether
Tom, you've not told us what your.
Sorry, go on.
You've not told us what resolution means to you.
Okay. I'm sort of scavenging all your ideas and putting it into my own idea. So I would say that. I would say like it's probably just improving things that I've done. Like usually the thing is, I'll quit this, quit that, but I'm not very likely to actually do that. So, if I was going to make a New Year's resolution, it would probably be something, try and draw better because I've started drawing and I'm very bad at it. Maybe improve my drawing. I played the keyboard for a couple of years, and now I've stopped and I've forgotten a lot of the tunes. So maybe relearning those tunes. Getting in touch with things that in the past that I've gotten involved with and subsequently I've kind of fallen out of touch with it. I think that could be also a good New Year's example. Would you agree with that? Is that a good one?
Yeah.
I nailed it.
None
Okay,
of them are wrong.
True. True. They're all right in their own way.
They are, and that's the important thing.
So, how difficult would it be for you? Now, this can be a bit different depending on the person. Like, how would you have changed your last year? Is there a certain thing that you would have changed about it? And if so, what was that? If that isn't too personal, Susan, do you want to go first?
What would I have changed last year? What would I have done differently? I don't know.
Tricky, that.
It is tricky. It is.
I don't look back, so it's hard for me to think about that, because I think, well, I wouldn't change anything. I was obviously meant to do that, and if it didn't pan out, and have another go.
You don't look back. That's an interesting thing. I think I really disagree with that.
Not for going forward. I don't always look back and think. Not always. I do, but not as much. I always try and think about going forward.
I understand that, yeah, in terms of you don't want to sort of put yourself
Mull
on the
over
idea
it.
that you need to regret something that's happened in the past.
There's no
Yeah, I
point
can
mulling
understand
over
that.
anything, because hindsight's a beautiful thing, but you know what I mean?
Maybe that's something I need to improve on, because I'm a muller. I mull over every little thing that I've done in the past, and that's one of the reasons why I'd say why I'm getting better at things in the future, because I mull over things a lot. Obviously, that can turn into paranoia, which can be quite intense. Carl, what about you? Anything you'd change from last year?
Yeah, so I put a lot of pressure on myself last year, and I didn't achieve what I set out to achieve. And I look back and I think, actually, I achieved an awful lot. I didn't achieve that final. I set myself a target last year's New Year resolution to lose 9 stone. I lost 6. And I look back and I think, instead of thinking, oh wow, I didn't hit 9 stone, I look back and I think, oh wow, I've lost 6 stone. So I take a positive angle on it. And I come to this year and I'm like, right, so I've got 3 stone, I'm going to lose that 3 stone this year. And I'm not going to put the pressure on me that I had last time. I've got an event that I'm training for in May. If I hit my target, great. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. I just buy a bigger suit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
On another go, Susan, because I interrupted you. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, it's interesting.
Did I interrupt you?
No, I interrupted Suze.
Sorry, I thought you said I did.
No, me.
No, it's I think it's because you know, I suppose I have a little unwritten rule that I don't live with regrets, and there's reason for everything happening in the way that they do. And some people might say that's a bit of a cop-out, and maybe that's true on some level. But just to pick up on your point, Sara, I think a reflection is a beautiful thing to do, to reflect upon, as Carl's saying, you know, things that have made you feel good, that have maybe not quite worked out in the way that you'd expected, but we still learned something from it. And we might have met people that we wouldn't have met if we hadn't have started that journey anyway. But then to pick up on your point, Tom, to ruminate, I see that as when reflection goes into staring, and we're staring at the past. And we have to remind ourselves in those moments that actually the past is past, and we cannot do anything about it. We can learn from it, though, and choose a different way of doing something or thinking about something. And so I cultivated that way of living, I suppose, and working through things, which of course is very typically coaching. So these are the skills that I've learned through coaching, which I have made sure that I practice for myself on a personal level, so that I can better support my clients when, you know, these are very typical struggles and challenges that that people have. So
Yeah, you put that better than what I said.
I think they both got very good points. A lot of people worry this, you know, about the past the same they do about the future. I'm not too sure whether would you go on.
We actually did a topic on rumination last year, and it was a really interesting one. We can perhaps go back and I can send you the link, and
that might help me out with my stress. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I think that's all we have time for at the moment.
What, are we finished?
Yeah, tonight, unfortunately, we have to get off.
That was a bit sharpish. Because I thought, hang on a minute, just really.
We'll have to do another one next week.
We will, because this was really about helping people to stay on track. So, you know, any quick top tips from you guys about staying on track?
My only one would be, it's okay to move the goalposts sometimes, either nearer or a little bit further away, depending on how you're feeling and how you're going. They're not fixed.
Good one. Yeah.
Big thing for me is my coach. I employed a fitness guru / coach / lifestyle coach / mentor / whatever you want to call her. I get text messages and voice messages from her daily, keeping me focused. And when I have my bad days, I can go to her and say I've had a bad day, and she helps me through it. So employ a coach if you can, and that's how I get my support.
Okay.
I'd say
back of that, on the back of that, really quickly, you can always, you will have a best friend, someone who you really trust, who can support you in the way that Carla's just suggested. You know, that is such a good way of asking for help to keep you on track, keep you focused. It's that constant reminder, those daily texts, those daily phone calls. It really makes a big difference when you are strongly committed to wanting to achieve something. The more help that you get from somebody else, that it just goes such a long way to you achieving. Sorry, Tom.
No, it's okay.
That was the point I was trying to get across.
Yeah. I'd just say it would be a good idea to keep a diary. I keep a diary of every single day and just make small notes in every day. I think I'm up to 930 days I've made notes on. And it gives me, I have an app for it, and it gives me like little achievements every 100 days if I do it in a row, which I think really helps, because it lets you sort of go back and see what you were like, you know, 2-3 years ago. And I realized that I'm an idiot, or I was an idiot, or I'm still an idiot. But but it lets me sort of ponder on what I was like a while back. So I'd always recommend keeping a diary.
Yeah,
I think that's the main thing. What about you, Susan? What was your support sort of? What was your like?
Yeah, just it's certainly something that I use with my clients, is that I ask them to check in with me, and every day send me either just a simple emoji, you know, to demonstrate maybe what they have done towards what they are wanting to achieve. So the onus is on them, and so it's that accountability. When you ask to be accountable to someone, when you say it public, you make a public statement, there's just that pressure, isn't there? There's just enough to make you go, ooh, yeah, I've got to do this. I've said I'm going to do it. So, you know, I think making that into a public declaration of some sort. It doesn't mean coming on Facebook and telling the whole world, you know, people who are going to say, how are you getting on with, and they're supporting you rather than criticizing you.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so shall we call it there? Everyone happy? Happy New Year.
Yeah.
So we'll see you later in a couple of weeks, probably. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.